So welcome to the Really Helpful Club and the latest in our In Conversation With series. This is our tech practice. We've done, I think, 35 of these. And what we found is that the tech practice really makes a difference. And it means that my interviewee feels really comfortable with the journey of getting on. Now, I'm going to be interviewing Lara Morgan today. Lara is the founder of Scentered. Scentered is an aroma-based wellbeing ritual. Lara is a British entrepreneur. She is an investor and a motivational speaker. She launched her first business back in 1991, and her latest venture is Scentered. Alex, I can see you've joined us. Lovely to see you on there. We're just doing a tech practice, so don't go away. There we go. Hi, Lara. Nice to see you. I can see you on there. So look, it's all gone okay. So let's just carry on and make this for the live. Yep. So I'm joined by Lara Morgan, and Lara is the founder of Scentered. Lara, hi. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm sitting in a hotel room in Chicago, so forgive me, it's a bit chaotic this morning.
Brilliant. Well, chaotic's good. Now, listen, what I'm going to say to you is, I mean, we started this as a tech practice, yeah?
Yeah.
And I'm a bit nervous to lose you because I know, we've had a few sort of connection issues. I think you've joined okay. I mean, we've had a sort of slightly sort of convoluted journey to get you on, but I would say actually let's carry on because we risk never getting you back on again, and you're too good to miss. This is going to be a great journey. So anyway, listen, I haven't really stolen much of your thunder because I was sort of busy trying to get you on here and stuff and things, and so apologies to everyone who's been trying to join. We've gone from tech practice to real thing. So Lara Morgan, welcome.
Thank you.
Serial entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and an investor. I mean, what a sort of series of attributes and labels to come on board to. So listen, I mean, just sort of set the scene of what our In Conversation series is about. You, I think, are my 35th or 36th interviewee. I love these things because what they're all about is shining the spotlight on you the entrepreneur, you the business owner, you the expert, and kind of getting under the bonnet of what your journey is, who you are, what motivates you, and really to share candidly some of the learnings along the way. And I always think that actually someone's journey is every bit as interesting as the destination. So let's kick off by learning a bit more about you, Lara, where it all began, a bit about what motivates you and your background, and kick it off from there. So thank you.
Okay, bless you. Nice to meet you.
You
properly.
too.
So I mean, I've got a very typical British upbringing. I was. This is a ridiculous statement, by the way, at the outset, but let's have some fun. So I was born in Hong Kong. 2 weeks later, no, I was born in Germany. 2 weeks later, I was living in Hong Kong. Obviously, that wasn't my particular choice. That was parenting and the British Army. They then sent me to Scottish boarding school. My first job was back in Hong Kong at the age of 18 when my dad went bankrupt. I then worked in the Middle East selling Yellow Pages advertising space.
Wow.
I then cycled and swam the length of New Zealand in 1990 because I was unemployed and working towards coming back to UK, where my other half then did an MBA. And I'm laughing because this seems like forever ago, a literal lifetime. And that's when I started my first business, Pacific Direct, in 1991 at the tender age of 23, completely and utterly clueless.
Brilliant. I mean, well, I think actually what is so interesting is, there's a bit of sort of tradition and, and kind of expectation in that kind of resonates. But, you've touched in quite a lot there, father going bankrupt, starting your own business at 23. That isn't that sort of traditional and normal. And I guess actually there's some interesting things there about some of the stuff you will have learned just from that. And that, I guess it's, I mean, I always think actually, one's journey is what can really shape who you are and what you become.
Absolutely. I mean, Sarah, I feel so deeply privileged to have this unbelievable flavor in my life where I have been born abroad, brought up abroad, educated, if you like, in my parents' homeland in Scotland, which was a joy. But even at the very early age, you know, when you're 11 and you're traveling half the way around the world with your brother, being told if you let go of her hand, you will be crucified in some way, although nobody can see you and there's no sodding mobile phones, you know. When I look at the tender, I have 3 daughters and I've brought them up to be pretty independent. And I used to get in trouble with other mums because, you know, if a child can travel at the age of 11 from Hong Kong on 7 different types of transport to a boarding school in St Andrews in Fife in Scotland, actually that's a confidence builder, right? And
yeah, absolutely.
It also shows you the flavor of people. And sometimes planes in those days genuinely broke down, so you'd end up in Delhi for 2 days. And you know, you start to kind of watch what's around you and absorb human character. And I think, you know, those lessons of humanity and experience have unbelievably shaped, you know, my outlook on the world. And I feel really deeply privileged to have had that upbringing. Definitely a big shaper.
I completely agree with you. It's real life experience. There is no substitute for it. And then there is no substitute for hunger. And and focusing the mind, and I'd love to know. I mean, I know you've got so many brands and businesses that you've launched, and you know, you are a real inspiration to anyone here that's watching, that is, you know, thinking about starting a business or you know, is in that process of scaling up. But it's, I mean, to launch something at 23, I think takes real courage. And we talk a lot at Really Help the Club about courage comes before confidence. But yeah. I think to have a sense of what you could do and to launch it takes real courage. So talk to us a bit about where that came from.
That's a really good question. And the truth is, I'm going to dispel the myth of my own personal experience, because in 1991, there were no jobs.
Yeah.
So actually, your point about hunger could not be more accurate. You know, in order to live, I had to make a job, because I couldn't get a job even. And I was a, you know, 23-year-old sales experienced. I had sales experience. That was my talent. And it was very difficult in the terms, inverted commas, and conditions of living in Cranfield at the business school, and my other half was doing his MBA, to kind of use my brain. And so I made a job, right? And actually, I think there's a much bigger positive out of that, Sarah, which is, if you turn courage on its head, it's necessity.
Yes.
Right. And my necessity is I needed to pay my rent, eat, and be able to play sports. Those were my kind of top 3 needs in life, you know, and I was very happily able to start from scratch at 23. And I would say to you, for any of your audience, there's 2 best places to start a business. One is when you're very young and you know nothing. That was me. And possibly one when you've got that kind of hunger of freedom, because you've brought up the kids and you're now going, actually, it's time for me. So I accept the courage point, but in my case, it wasn't courage, it was necessity.
Yeah, and that's very candid of you. Thank you for sharing that. And so tell us a little bit about Scentered. I mean, I've watched a lot of your YouTube talks, and you know, we could talk for a long time.
I'm busy.
You're busy. I mean, tying you down to talk now has been hard enough, so I can't imagine. Yeah, I want to make the most of this. But tell us about, you know, Scentered, which of course is your most recent venture. And it's really nice to be able to sort of, I think, shine the spotlight on that as one individual business today. But we're not going to let you off the hook, and you're going to come back and talk to us about more. But tell us about tell us about the inspiration behind that, because I think that's going to really resonate with our audience, given our demographic.
Yeah. So I mean, it's laughable, and I mean it just is life, isn't it? But I imagine there are a lot of people that are trying to juggle. And, you know, I got to the point with my business where it was growing pretty quickly. I had 3 small children. And of course, I was trying to do everything the right way. You know, I used to, in fact, fly genuinely half the way around the world, arrive, and then make a birthday cake, you know, at like 5, you know, I'd arrive at Heathrow at 4:45, and by 6:45, I could be putting the cake in the oven. But then the annoying thing is walking around the garden to cool the bloody thing down. But, you know, so genuinely, Scentered came about because I was arguing with my mum. and I was twitching because I was brutally tired. I was breastfeeding at the same time. I was trying to run a global business and think, what was I going to put on the table? My husband and I have a great relationship, but he's brilliant in the sense that, you know, we have some really traditional old-fashioned values, like you do what you say you're going to do. And part of my marriage contract is we eat fresh food. We always have. But, you know, when you're annoyingly juggling everything that you're juggling, and you're pushing all the boundaries, sometimes your mum steps up and says you're being ridiculous, right?
Yeah. And that's what mums are for.
And that's what mums are for, and I'm learning that too. I'm certainly starting to play that card with my 17, 18, 21-year-old and 23-year-old. But I am utterly, grounded in the fact that natural product can make a difference. So Scentered is a balm, right? I put it on the picture because I think it's, you can see it's hand size, and actually I'll duck down and get a smaller, I should have prepared this, but it's like anything. I'm running between investment calls and God only knows what. But I think this is a hero product of ours that just is like your discovery set, but actually it says to you everything about life. So I used to walk into hotel rooms. I'm literally in one now. So it makes me emotional because I used to arrive in a lot grottier hotel rooms than this glamorous one that looks like I'm in an amazing art piece. And literally, the room would smell, it would be pretty average. It's the end of a long day. I've probably flown on an aeroplane. I'm tired. I'm in the wrong time zone. And I wasn't getting good night's sleep. And my mum gave me these aromatherapy oils, but oils, you need to diffuse. You can't put them directly on your skin. I wanted a pre-blended boost of natural aromatherapy. And it took 4.5 years to blend Scentered. And the brand name is a stroke of genius from actually, sadly, someone who has passed. Because he said to me, how is it that you habitually can compartmentalize? And I said, because I'm a mum. And he said, but you're so centered. And it made me think, actually, if scent affects mindset, and we put this on our pulse points, and, with the mini ones, there's this is the little pocket. I'm allowed to say pocket rocket in England, but it means something really different in America. So you need to be careful of that. But, the idea that you put this on your pulse points actually is not what it's entirely all about. And I know my marketing team will go nuts, but the mantra of my mum saying, right, stand up, stop, just stop for 1 minute. You have to start thinking about you. I can literally see the argument now. Yeah. And she said, inhale. Just take a breath, right? So we stop, we inhale, and that actually genuinely, it's a physical feat of brilliant invention, our body, where that injects us with better oxygen, more air-filled oxygen. We already feel better. And at that point, we stopped, we've inhaled, and we reset. And I'm sure there are people on the call who fully understand that moment where you might have had a long day, a long drive. I'm a salesperson. I used to spend a lot of time in my car. I'd drive and then I'd stop at my house and I'd park and I'd have to turn into mum. Yeah. And it was exactly the same when I walked into a hotel room because I would have to phone home. And it was ridiculous, Sarah, because, I'd turn into sodding Wonder Woman and go, how was school today? And I'd be feeling like chewed string. So Scentered has the ability, it's scientifically proven that we can change our mindsets using fragrance, and it gives you the ability to transport yourself. So we do have a fragrance called Escape, which is my kind of yoga go to Sri Lanka favorite smell. But now I'm in love with love because I'm menopausal and a miserable bitch from hell sometimes. and in between you have de-stress, which is a hero. I mean, the natural chamomile, these are all unisex. You don't need to ask which should you give your husband. Although sometimes I do take Escape and say, I'm taking this one and I'm leaving. No, I don't. And obviously Sleep Well is the mega hero. But these balms change lives. I mean, we see ADHD children and parents celebrating, giving someone a tool to make them stop, inhale, reset. And I'm sorry, I've gone on too long, but I'm passionate about mindset change because we make better decisions when we stop.
That's a very, very good. I'm just writing that down because it is so important. Some of the stuff you're saying is so interesting because it will be resonating with our audience on so many levels. In terms of some of the demographics you just talked about is, because one of the questions I want to ask is who are the products for? Well, it's clearly for younger generation, young people, women, menopausal, men. It's, you know, it works for everyone on different levels.
And that's a true business dilemma as well, Sarah, because you can't, well, of course you can as you grow, but you have to prioritize. And truthfully, you know, we know that the yogi understands these are pre-blended, unbelievably complex blends, and they understand the power that, you know, if you go into your garden and you've got rosemary, you just put rosemary between your fingertips and you smell it, your eyes open, and your brain
it's lovely,
clearer.
And the same with lavender. When you do, and it's a wonderful feeling that you get. It's natural.
Totally. And, you know, I genuinely have, my husband thinks it's funny, but he's planted a rows of rosemary bushes outside our front door in the shape of an L for Lara. and so I arrive home, and I don't know whether it's his signal to me to go, right, just, but rosemary is very uplifting. And it's also, I mean, there's so many qualities. We've got sage and mint. You know, I one of my joys in my reset nowadays is I go into the garden in the summertime and I pick mint tea, and it is a bedtime routine. And our sleep routines are so appallingly disrupted by digital that I cannot tell you, you know, if I could give anybody the gift of, we all know we have to have a better sleep routine, right? So why are we not going, applying the balm, lighting a candle, coming off the bloody digital, and even in a, you know, even when I am, you know, doing what I do today, which is pretty full on, I don't drink coffee after 11 o'clock. I know these things, but it is having the little tool, the reminder that my daughter has in her pencil case so she can focus. You know, we know night workers and nurses have these in their pouch pockets. We are thrilled with hearing people saying, just stop, inhale and reset.
Yes, which is a really, really important mantra. When you think just how busy our lives have become, and it's an exponential pace of change, which is becoming harder and harder to deal with, whether you're a child in school, someone entering the workplace, a mum, you know, it's a really easy narrative to understand, but that point of just pause is so important and becoming increasingly important, I think. So so thanks for sharing that.
I also think the other thing is that if you've got people who are thinking about change, right, they could be thinking about starting a career, they could be going into charity, they could literally be thinking of, you know, about going out. We've had people that are full of anxiety, so, you know, de-stressing. And actually, you know, I don't practice yoga. I actually have a wonderful investment in a yoga company called Yogi Bear, who has taught me, and I'm not perfect by any shape of the imagination, but the time that you can have to yourself, that self-care. So time on the mat, where Kat, the owner of Yogi Bear, talks about be here now. It's also that thing for us with full lives. Whatever you're doing, if you can just settle yourself and concentrate on the task in hand, which is an unbelievably powerful process in business and in life, whatever you're doing, whatever you choose to do, be at it fully, right? And she has a saying, which is, you know, around yoga for everybody and everybody. We're all different. We can't do this stereotype social media cobblers. I mean, look at me. I can't be asked to wear makeup. I'm not wearing lipstick. I don't care, right? I have to do it for QVC if I'm honest. But, you know, stop, inhale and reset and live your own life.
Really important and really interesting, because incredibly powerful, as you say, but really hard to do. You know, that living in that present, like you say, it's not rocket science. We know what we're meant to do, and but it's pushing that into our routines.
Yeah, and hands on heart, you know, nobody is perfect, and the good news is that most human beings are thoroughly decent human beings. I mean, I was very short with my daughter the other night on the phone because I was in a hurry and I had a conference call coming up, and truthfully, you know, sometimes we're short, and I've been angry with some of my communication, and brilliantly, my culture is that my EA, who's just gone on a well-deserved holiday, said to me, "You're too angry, your communication's poor, you know, it's hard. Business is really hard for product companies at the moment." And, you know, cash is short, stock is in for Christmas, you're praying Christmas is going to work.
Yeah.
And you still need to be kind to yourself sometimes, and I'm not very good at that.
Well, thank you for being so candid and sharing that. Now you've talked a little bit about a couple of the other brands that you're involved with and started and things. And most of the other business owners and entrepreneurs that we talk to are really single business owners. And I think one of the interesting things about you is the portfolio that you've built, the portfolio you've invested in. And so I guess what interests us is to learn what drives you and the inspiration behind each of the brands that you've launched or got involved in. You know, is there a commonality? Is there what draws you in all these light bulb moments?
So definitely, I mean, when I'm investing in someone, I actually think the person themselves. So, and it doesn't, nobody's perfect. So you look through their fragilities or, I have an amazing luggage company who's had a horrible ride, Gate 8 luggage, but Alistair is the most decent human being in the universe, and I will go to the end of the earth. Selling luggage at the moment is it's impossible. So it's the person, and for me, then it's the skill that I don't have, right? So in Kat's case, Kat's the owner of Yogi Bear, unbelievable creativity, unbelievable genius wordage, construction of script, the brand ethos, and her passion to make yoga accessible. Kit Bricks, I invested in a military guy, and actually this is a lesson to everybody that they must take on board. And I know Rob and I are no longer working together in Kit Bricks, but Kit Bricks is now run better because somebody is paying attention to the finances, and you cannot let, in a business situation, allow abdication and a lack of responsibility for your numbers. Now, every day I do look at numbers. Numbers make businesses. Numbers and finance are critical, but it doesn't mean I have to fill in all the boxes and know absolutely every moving part as I grow. But the reason I make investments is because I think if you love the product, and all of my products are health and wellness, and you can see I can't smile without talking about, we've got my husband invented a product recently for an American market called Parker, but in Kit Bricks we've invented poncho for the outdoor swimmer, and the poncho of Kit Bricks is an iteration of exactly why you invest in people. It's a solution finder. So in my view, you shouldn't invest in something that isn't really bringing value to the planet, to the person, and to profitable, timely process. So it's a long-winded answer, and if I was to summarize it, I invest in health and wellness products that improve life and time. And the reason I do that is we're going to have more leisure time than ever with technology, and that means that I'm prone to snacking and eating rubbish, hence new process of putting almonds on every desk I'm in but I'm trying to eat healthily. And the truth is, if we need to learn new skills and habits and have hobbies, because I believe leisure is the big growth time market as the world changes and digitalize, and robotics and AI mean that work and roles are changing.
Completely agree. And and we are going through a digital revolution as we speak, and that pace of change is accelerating, and you're absolutely right. So look, again, I mean, it's really interesting. I've heard you talk through a lot of your TED Talks and inspirational sort of speaking events. Is what have you found some of the challenges of setting up a business? I mean, you talk about life is really hard now. It's slightly sort of let's go back sort of 1991 and what you've learned from then to now. It's as much about avoiding the mistakes as it is about celebrating the wins.
No, Sarah, it's about making really quickly, and it's about piling them on you and then realizing that a mistake is only a learning opportunity. So I love the people I work with, and I genuinely mean, I love laughing with them. They don't love me all of the time, I'm sure, but I love challenging them. I like to see them grow. And the best kind of people that you invest in are the ones that put up their hand and go, I made a mistake. I'm not hiding from a mistake, but I'm making a mistake and I've learned a lesson. And I'm going to share that lesson so we don't make that mistake again. And everybody grows. So the final answer to the earlier question is also, when you set up a company, you need to have someone who's prepared to take correction and prepared to grow from errors.
Yeah.
And I've got a young woman, she's on the call at the moment, I've just noticed, but we're going through a learning phase where, and she'll know exactly when I say this, who she is, but you can't run a business and have an attitude that it'll be fine, right? Fine doesn't happen. Business is about control, it's about reporting, it's about numbers, and it's a sodding race, right?
Yeah.
So the faster we are, the more dynamically we approach, the better we challenge to grow and to see individuals grow. I get a great deal of joy out of challenging. I don't care who you are, right? If at 23 I can start my own bookkeeping, buy a laptop and pick up the phone and start selling, anybody can do it, right? So I'm not, this is not individual. And don't get me wrong, I'm taking to an extreme now that I'm investing, and I've got carried away and I'm making loads of stupid mistakes, but I'm overstretched financially, but that'll be fine because my team are amazing and we'll get through it. But I think when you start, get your numbers right and don't make the mistake I made. Have a plan of some kind, which, by the way, will never be the plan that you deliver at the end of the game, right? It will evolve. You have to move with the times, you have to change. You have to listen to your customer. And so that is really important, that you get out there and listen to the customer and hear the feedback from people that are selling your product, or you when you're selling it, which I also think is really important because that gives you lots of learning. And then it's about systems and structure, Sarah. So every time you do something, the big business term is a boring standard operating procedure, but you can't scale and invest in multiple companies unless you have templates and frameworks and process and a joint determination to follow a system. And that's challenging because people have to adapt and adopt and buy into methodology, but then you accelerate because you can scale off that platform. I'm sorry, it's a long answer again, but templates and frameworks in the early days, and then this constant and relentless effort to be better. So I'll give you a pathetic example. I was in my Chicago warehouse the day before yesterday, and I noticed a carton. I'm talking about boxes. I mean, that's how anal I am, but these things matter, right? So why does it matter that this box is slightly concave at the top and wrongly shaped? Its stuff is stuffed inside it. So I'm going, what's in that box? And it's a soft product. It's a new robe called Parker, Parcca. You can only buy them in America at the moment, but the box is the wrong size. So when you then palletize them, it's imbalanced, right?
Yeah.
I took a picture of the pallet with the rickety boxes on and sent a text as I'm in the warehouse to the people concerned, sent a picture of it to China division who make it, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to then teach my Chicago staff, they also could have done that. They've known about this, right? They could have made the change. So it's not just me, whoopee, I've just got the box size changed for the next shipment. Actually, I've also changed the wording on the outer carton because I didn't think it was good enough, that team, and it sounds pathetic. And why am I in those weeds? Because I care on the day when I'm visiting my US team to say thank you in a horrendous Christmas period where the orders are going out. It's great. Thank God they're going out and they're moving really quick. Scentered is is a bestseller on Amazon, was last year. We're hoping again we achieve that badge. But everything, all of these incremental changes that the team make for packaging, the carton, the sizing, the attitude by which they approach change, that's culture.
Yeah.
And that to me is everything.
I think one of the really interesting things and things that sort of draw us to you, Lara, is your honesty. It's really interesting the way you share very openly your learnings, and I think
don't understand why others don't do it, Sarah. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not perfect. It is clear that none of us are perfect. And by the way, I'm going to say something brutal, and I hope it's not offensive, and if it is, tough. But women are really shit at this, right? Women are shit at thinking that there is a perfect. There isn't. There's this thing called Pareto. It's 80-20. And once you're 80% there, love, crack on, because somebody's going to challenge you. I do not believe there is perfect. I am not perfect. I have never been perfect. I never will be perfect. I'm a shit speller. And actually, then it's about the race. So if I can get the thing to market, or if I can attempt a new thing. So let's go back to courage. There's a brilliant Dale Carnegie saying, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah.
Right? What's the worst thing that can happen? Now, truthfully, and very sadly, I lost a salesperson to an accident in Germany many years ago. And the worst thing that can happen is that person died, right? Yeah. But how rare is that? I have, nearly 40 years of trading, and most people are generous in spirit. My favorite saying is still, so treat me like an idiot. Teach me what you know. And my most, I think, powerful development off that is, I'm a company, my companies are trying to sell products, but I have partners, and if they make their best effort to make me successful and I get the best from them, we together benefit. So this is a team thing where we're not going to get it right all the time. It just doesn't work that way. So what are you waiting for?
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I can see we've got a lot of people joining the call, which is great. Now, look, this is a great opportunity. I know how hard it is to get to talk to Lara. So if there's anyone watching this that would like to chuck a question at her, this is your moment to, because I know you are going to answer direct, Lara.
I'll have to put glasses on to see the questions.
Yeah, exactly. Well, don't worry, I can see them. But this is a chance for you to ask anything. And also, I mean, if you've worked with Lara or used her products or know anything about her other businesses, this is also a chance to show your appreciation for that too. So do please pop comments in, because it's lovely to sort of to see any engagement that comes in. So don't hold back. People, please do put any comments in there. But I think also, I mean, we've talked about the challenges, which is what's so interesting. But you alluded a little bit to the joy of helping other people's careers develop, helping teams develop. And so maybe you could talk a little bit about the rewards that you feel from the different businesses that you've run.
Oh, thank you. I mean, look, let's be honest. It's also, without our partners, we're nothing. Without our supply chain has been brutally damaged recently. Yeah. So, when I talk about sort of the position my group are in, and all of the companies that are in the product area, Sarah, we genuinely have seen 10 times price rises. Yeah. So some people have simply not been able to order goods, because if a 10-time price rise happens in freight, you're adding £8.70 to the movement of a yoga mat before you even put a margin on it. And actually, on that point, before I forget, in case there are other business learners, and my team will laugh, but the costing of a product, doesn't matter whether it's a product or a service. So it could be time is money, or the product is a sales price and you have an RRP. But that structural management of a costing sheet will make or break a business in its professional ability to understand how it's making its money and what it should be doing. Now, of course, things go wrong, but I'll challenge you, for example. It takes time to find a speaker. It takes time to show the idiot the process of how to go on Amazon Live, in my case. But you know what I mean? It's much more than just you turning up to this call. Yeah. So my people and, the Kit Bricks business, the Yogi Bear business, nothing is perfect. But the fact that people turn up and I know that they're delivering with the best of intentions, we will share the rewards. And actually, one of the best things I learned in my first business is how stupid I was at not creating a shareholder structure that allows me to reward. But at the moment, when you're very early stage, you don't start fiddling with a share structure. You just have to make honourable promises. But given the fact that in my first business, I gave away £2 million sterling in cash, I know I will honour my promise when we get to success. So, and by the way, that was one of the best days of my life, because my receptionist fell off her chair. But, but my husband and I jointly worked out, and it was just, when you change someone's life because you've given them a wedge of cash, that's reward, right?
Yeah.
Because truthfully, then, you know, whether we like it or not, you know, money is the score of success, but not for me as much as the learning and the journey. So nowadays, what drives and motivates me to answer a question better than I asked before, is it seeing people grow, putting great product into a marketplace that is worthy of the customer's valued investment. So why and what we do and we develop our products is because I genuinely believe we change and improve lives. And my team and I think, are jointly on that journey, genuinely trying to make a difference. And that's something very special. So I get up early and I sleep less, and I'm able to do that because I'm smiling and going, however hard it is, this conversation is actually elevating me, because you've got to look back sometimes. And I don't do enough of that. And I don't do enough to thank my team. But yeah, I feel very blessed to be in the position I'm in.
Well, that's really good to hear. And again, when I listen to you talk, I feel that passion that you have for the product, for the businesses. And it's something that I've heard you talk about as well, is the importance of passion behind what you do, believing in the product or the service or what you're doing. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
So actually, I'll give an example, because it's on my desk and I just grabbed it the other day. So here is a scented stocking. I think it's brilliant, right? But because bloody Amazon have a system where I have to bolt this in, we've had to use a kind of structure of plastic. Now, we're totally anti-plastic. No, that's not true. We're not anti-plastic, because plastic actually has some purposes. But we do everything we can relentlessly to be sustainable. So, oh God, I am going to grab it. Hang on, my sleep bar is by my bedroom.
Nobody go away.
No,
I hope she's coming back.
Show you this. So, for example, we're really proud this year because we've cracked the refill, right? Okay. So these balms are now refillable. And actually, if I could show you it, but I had to give it to someone yesterday. I'm so angry with myself. We've got a refillable candle, and it's the incremental determination to provide inventive, brilliant newness. I mean, Scentered is made in England primarily. Although we take the balm abroad and fill some of the balms, we also want to do that worldwide, because we want a global business, right? And you can't get a global business and not really manage a supply chain. But equally, sadly, some of Britain, some of America, some of Indonesia, it doesn't matter where it is, sometimes the skills you require aren't in the country you'd like them to be. And so I think there are some real challenges ahead about where we make what we make and how we make it. But I think one of the things we absolutely all have to grasp, and it's a joy Yogi Bears become plastic free. Kit Bricks cannot become plastic free. It's a tarpaulin bag, but that bag will last you a lifetime. And I think we need to educate people sometimes to buy to last, or to buy to refill. And, you know, in the old days, when people used to fix socks, they used to darn them. That reminds me, you can fix stuff, right? And you can recycle, and you can put your coffee grounds in the garden, and you can use banana to help you grow roses. And I can give you this shit all day long, but it's not shit. It's what we should do better about sustainability. And that, for me, is very rewarding within our product.
Completely agree with you. And the comments you're making about supply chain and local production things is really relevant to this question that's come in, that says, do you think the role of China within global supply chains has fundamentally changed forever?
Sadly not. Well, not sadly not. It just no at the moment, and for lots of reasons. But the supply chain will reset. It apparently will take between another 8 and 10 months. My data informs me. But the truth is, the supply chain will probably reset earlier than that, because people are now either ordering more because they've got to have a buffer for the time that it might run out, or they've caught up and now it's just a late rolling cycle, right? But 84% of goods start or have a part made in China. 84%, right? So yes, it has been impacted. And yes, it is right that China's actual production and standard of living, I've seen the standard of living in factories in China changed dramatically in the 30 years I've been involved in China. And I QC our factories. I personally visit them. My team in China do. We're extremely careful about everything we do. But I think that what may change China more, and I think it's a great thing, and I hope they bloody well get on board. I think they are. I mean, actually, the Chinese government are the ones that have dictated some unbelievably stringent laws that is now affecting electricity supply to factories because they're not allowed to create damaging waste. So they've put controls, a typical blanket governmental Chinese dictate. But what I think will benefit is that we will get more inventive in our supply chains about minimalizing and refilling. That's why we're passionate about our candle, because you can refill any I don't care. I care. I'd love you to buy a scented candle. They are the most gorgeous, utterly imbibed, totally ridiculously amount of essential oils. So they really scent a space. But the fact is, you can also put my candle refill in any other container, and we've all got containers, right?
Yeah.
So whilst China still has 84% of component parts, it's going to take a long time to change. But I think what we can do is we can be inventive. So, the Chinese guy that made this was not 45% recycled plastic, and it wasn't a refillable structure that allowed us to do this when we first had the scented bar. But because we bother to ask, and because we care and we challenge, progress is made.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I think it has been so interesting hearing you share, so many insights and learnings, whether you are a startup, a consumer, business owner, products or services. I think you've shared so much. But in a nutshell, what would if someone is watching this thinking about starting up their own business, tell us what you'd share with them as your key insights, your key advice.
Yeah, I'm often asked this question. I mean, if 54% of Britain talks apparently about starting up a business, but they don't, right? 90% apparently fail in the first year.
Yeah,
that's a pretty horrific statistic. But what's the worst thing that can happen? That you had a go and you don't look back for the rest of your life, having perhaps given it a go for a year and discovered it's not for you, right? So that's perhaps point one. Point two is, it's not for the faint-hearted, Sarah. And actually working for a lunatic entrepreneur is definitely not for this. So, when you recruit people around you, be honest with them and be honest about yourself. Don't take to work someone that is not you. I don't take anyone except me, and I'm not, and I still got learning and growing to do, like we all do. But I try. And I think it's that point about, if you're thinking about going into a business and you are ethical and you are honest and you are open and you're able to ask for help and you don't look for perfection and you put structure in and you don't abdicate finance and you start to realize from what I'm telling you, you accept that there's an awful lot of hard work, then you will succeed, right? But sometimes even the greatest items, and COVID has proven this, greatest items, greatest products, greatest service, events companies, hospitality, sometimes the market isn't right for your product or your offering. So then you've got to be agile and able. So you've got to be open-minded. I could go on for hours, but the skill set is broad. I don't have it all, and I still manage to get to the other side. And I'm very proud of working with the people that want to grow and put up with my shenanigans.
And you have a very big smile on your face. And your eyes light up, everything about you lights up with every product and every business that you talk about. Lara, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us. I know to just grab even half an hour in your incredibly busy day has been a joy and a privilege. And we will share this on IGTV. I hope you'll do that on your channel, on the Scentered channel as well. And we would encourage everyone that's got something out of this to share it onwards as well, because this is how we scale. This is how we help one another, right? And but for me, you've shared so much, but I love this phrase you say, which I think is so relevant to each and every one of us, you know, regardless of what we do or where we're at, is we make better decisions when we stop. So thank you for sharing in so many levels and so many ways, and thank you for your time. A true inspiration and a joy to talk to you.
Really nice to be involved. And Sarah, you know, what goes around comes around. So exactly like you said, if everybody put a bit back in, and I get this wrong as well, you know, but give somebody a hand up, right? Not a hand out.
Yeah. Brilliant advice as ever. So thank you. And thank you everyone who's joined us and for your comments and engagement too. Great. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.